Did you ever ask yourself why Griffith is so beautiful in Berserk? And I mean this as like a question of artistic design. Why did Kentaro Miura create Griffith to look the way that he does? Because the thing is, Griffith's beauty is extremely striking within the context of Berserk. It's a very feminine beauty. It's delicate and radiant, and he has this long flowing hair. And no one that Griffith surrounds himself with looks like him either. He is, after all, the leader of a mercenary band, and all of his men look very traditionally masculine. And one exception to this rule might be Casca, who is of course a very beautiful woman. But Griffith's beauty nevertheless seems to have a more traditionally feminine quality, at least when they're dressed up as mercenaries. I guess you could say he's like the prettiest one in the room. And he certainly contrasts powerfully with Guts, who is of course beautiful in his own way. But Guts has an extremely masculine beauty. He has the beauty of a big, strong, scary man who has a surprisingly tender heart. So the real question here is, why does Griffith have this very unique, delicate, feminine beauty? What storytelling purpose does it serve? Well, I actually think that there's a lot of different answers that you could give to this question, and I'm not going to give you all of them in this video. But there is one answer that I do want to talk about, which has to do with the romantic subtext between Griffith and Guts. Because even though they don't become a couple or anything, their relationship is nevertheless driven by a very powerful erotic tension. And Guts in particular is driven by a very powerful erotic fixation on Griffith during his stay with the Band of the Hawk. And because Berserk is a visual story, Kentaro Miura needed to design the visual dimension of Griffith's character in a way that would help the reader, or for that matter the viewer, make sense of Guts' fascination with him. We need to be able to see Griffith in the way that Guts sees Griffith, not just as some guy who happens to be very powerful, but as a radiantly beautiful object of erotic fascination. And I think that that's the reason why Miura designed Griffith not only to be beautiful, but also to have a very feminine kind of beauty. Part of what's going on here is that Griffith's feminine beauty provides balance to Guts' masculine beauty. This opposition between two kinds of beauty is supposed to be a coded representation of the erotic magnetism that draws them together. It is as though Griffith's feminine beauty complements and completes Guts' masculine beauty, and that is the reason why Guts longs for him. And I also have another theory about the cultural context of the late 80s and early 90s in which Miura was first making Berserk. I think that this historical context can explain part of the reason why Miura felt that he needed Griffith to be a feminine complement to Guts' masculine beauty. During this time, it was a lot more rare to see gay relationships in popular art, and I actually don't know enough about the history of Japanese culture and society to explain why that would be the case over there. I don't really know about the censorship laws that might have affected this, or if it was more perhaps about homophobic cultural norms, or if there was some other explanation. But the fact is that Berserk was designed in accordance with a very heteronormative and patriarchal cultural logic. And that logic works by representing erotic relationships in terms of masculine and feminine counterparts. And so if you want to code two male characters as gay in accordance with this logic, one of them has to be the masculine one and the other has to be the feminine one. And that's how it works between Guts and Griffith. It's really the cultural logic of patriarchal norms that demand that Griffith be represented with this extremely feminine beauty in order to code him as an object of homoerotic fascination for the extremely masculine Guts. Or at least that's my theory. Let me know in the comments what you think about this.